You don't die when your heart stops beating. You die when your heartbeats have no meaning. That was a powerful awakening for me because you know what I noticed throughout the years? I had lost meaning of my heartbeats. Hi there, this is Coach Charlene, and I am with the Wellness Whisper Coaching and Consulting Company. I am so excited to be before you today. I have a heart and a passion to provide care for our healthcare team. And let me tell you a little bit about this. Before I early retired, I start seeing things that I was like, okay, I think we need to do a better job at doing this. And that was taking care of the healthcare workers, especially post-pandemic. Now, I remember in my master's program that I went through in 2020 to 2021-ish, I learned about the IHI, quality improvement, and it was so much fun. And we learned about those three, they call it the triple aim. And the triple aim is the patient experience, it's the cost, and it also is, there's one more that I'm missing, population health, trying to get to our community. And so we've been doing that for quite some time. I mean, the triple aim have been around quite some time. I'm gonna have to find out how long it's been around, but it has been for a while. And so at some point, many years after that, they brought in the quintuple, or actually the quadruple aim. And the quadruple aim, in addition to those three things that I mentioned, the patient care experience, the population health, and then cost, they added in the care team's well-being. Now, while I was going through school, we were going through there in 2020. And so it was a horrible time actually to go to school. And so I witnessed how a lot of care teams were not being taken care of because we were taking care of the crisis that was before us, which was COVID-19, and then also the systemic racism that was occurring at the same time. And so the quadruple aim to me seemed like something that we need to pay attention to. Now, especially post-pandemic, we were in the midst of things. We were just trying to make it the best way that we could with limited resources, with working short, all of the things that happen when you have a crisis that comes in. And so I put a pin right there in my head as we were going through that season. And then there's another one that they added on, the quintuple aim, and the quintuple aim as in equity. There's a lot of information about this. You can go to IHI or you can research it anywhere on Google Scholar, wherever you do your research at. But you will see that now they have the quintuple aim, which actually aims to do all five of those things: the patient experience, the cost, the population health, the care team well-being, as well as the equity, so that we can deal with all of the disparities that are so evident with the data. And so post-pandemic, I think around 2021-ish, because we went through the pandemic for quite some time, it was very traumatizing for a lot of nurses, a lot of healthcare workers, a lot of people, period. So the thing is, healthcare workers could not just say, I'm not going to go to work, I'm going to work from home. We had to be there on the front, serving our patients, serving our family members, serving our sisters, our brothers. And so with that type of service, without taking care of yourself, you are going to be exhausted. And many of us hit that point of burnout. Now, before the pandemic, we were already experiencing high numbers of burnout and turnover and all of the things. And so this just amplified what was already going on. And so here we are in 2022-ish. I remember specifically because that's where my idea came to actually, I wanted to do something more. I wanted to be able to provide services, provide programs, provide experiences that healthcare workers and service industry providers can come to so that they can be refilled and refueled, because we were losing ground. And I mean, I'm talking about 2, 3, 4 years out of the pandemic, there were still people that were having a lot of challenges, and you can understand why. And so I believe with all of my heart that my wellness whisperer is designed to go back in and help our healthcare teams so that they can reprioritize their well-being. So I help organization gain the inside track on reprioritizing well-being. That is what I'm doing. That is what the rest of my season as a nurse is going to be. I am after helping as many organizations as I can. And of course, because organization house the beautiful healthcare workers, I want to touch those hearts that need to reprioritize their well-being. Because you know what? It's so critical. It's so important for you to reprioritize your well-being. And you may say, well, you know, what's the difference? Wellness, well-being, like I'm so tired of hearing about these things, but it's critically important. So let's talk about well-being programs. I looked that up. So those are programs that generally emphasize physical health, lifestyle behavior, targeting areas of exercise, diet, smoking cessation, health screenings, doing all of the things that keep us healthy. They typically aim at preventing chronic illness. Now, well-being programs, on the other hand, they're broader. It's more holistic in its nature. And it's not only the physical wellness, because that's important too, but that's where tapping into the emotion, the social, the mental, and sometimes even financial health. So these programs focus on fostering an overall supportive environment that promotes work-life balance, mental health support, such as stress management workshops, social connections, and financial wellness resources. The goal truly is to address the factors that contribute to an individual's overall quality of life and resilience, not just the physical, because you can be, buffed up and all of that. If you have not taken care of the other part of you, which is the mental, the soulish realm, and the spiritual realm, then you can be as strong, you can look strong on the inside and feel very weak within. You can't even handle the situations that are thrown your way. So it's very important for you to determine your own well-being. I like well-being because it is so critically important for us to align our lives. Like, who wants to go their whole life going to work, paying your bills, coming home, going to bed, doing the same thing over and over again? You're not happy. You're not fulfilled. You know that there's something missing and you just don't know what it is. I mean, who wants to stay in that space? I don't know about you guys. I am 58. I'll be 59 this year. And like I tell people, I don't have another 50 years to make things happen. And I don't want to live in regret. And so I want to live fully the rest of my heartbeats. You guys all know my podcast, When the Moment Chooses You. I found a quote at the end of 2022. And that quote said, "You don't die when your heart stops beating. You die when your heartbeats have no meaning." That was a powerful awakening for me, because you know what I noticed throughout the years? I had lost meaning of my heartbeats. You'll always hear about people talking about nurses losing their why. And that's because sometimes we get so busy doing the what that we forget about the why. When you just do the what, you become an automatron. You could be like a nurse or a physician or a tech or administrative assistant or whatever, just literally being a robot, coming to work, going home, doing your task. You become so robotic that there's no life in you anymore. And so there's a quote, I think I heard Bishop Jake say it. He said something like, nobody minds how many days you live, long as you live in the days that you have. So you have to live fully every heartbeat. Every heartbeat that I have is intentional. You will not catch me wasting my heartbeats because quite honestly, we only have so many heartbeats. And so when you start being conscious that, you know what, I am not going to spend 30 minutes of anger with elevated cortisol levels and anger and just rage and stuff like that, you're going to figure out a better way to move from that reactionary to that responsive mode, which in turns helps your well-being. When you learn how to emotionally regulate yourself, master your emotions, then your life gets better. I'm going to share a story with you. I remember as a new leader, I was like, okay, I am going to, I start feeling like stuff just start piling up, challenges, darts coming at me soon as I hit the floor. I mean, all kind of stuff. I mean, stuff like, oh my gosh, we're short staffed. And you know what? Probably we were at some point, or I can't do this, or I can't, you know how it is when people start coming at you and it almost feels like an attack, but we know that it's not necessarily an attack. But I'm just saying, as a new leader, I had to think about how can I be one up on these challenges that are coming as soon as I look at my phone. And so, you know what I decided to do? Now, this was after some years. In 2010, I discovered, or my organization brought in Caring Science, which is the theory of caring science by Dr. Gene Watson, and which is a way of being while you're doing. And so we also brought in heart math, which I believe is like a gift for authentic presence. And so I learned some of the tools there. And so what I would do before I even got out of bed, I started doing affirmations, mantra. Now, I am a woman of prayer, so I'm praying also. But in addition to that, I decided to do an affirmation, and I call it actually a declaration. I walk in undisturbed composure. And I decided to start doing that many, many, many years ago. I'm telling you, it's at least over 15 years ago. And the reason why I did that, because one of the definitions, or the heart math definition for resilience, is the capacity to prepare for, recover from, and adapt in the face of stress or crisis. I love their definition there. That's heart math. You'll have to check it out, heartmath.org. And so that showed me that, oh my gosh, I have to prepare myself before I even go in to do what I need to do. So I decided my prep was saying and declaring before I got out of bed that I walk in undisturbed composure. And so I then did a breathing technique, a heart lock in, to lock that. I anchored that in my heart. So that was going to be my go-to when I needed to go to it. And so I get to work. And now for me, in my imagination, I feel like I'm walking in with a shield. I have a shield of undisturbed composure around me. Now, you can pick whatever your word is or whatever you want to walk in. You pick one for you. But for me, it was undisturbed composure, because guess what? I knew disturbances were going to come, because that's life. Trouble is going to come. Challenges are going to come. So I decided to go one up on it and say, I walk in undisturbed composure. Now, when I said it on the first day, guess what? I felt quite disturbed. But after time, repetition is the mother of all learning. And I believe just like you eat an apple, the apple becomes you. You don't see the apple anymore after you digest it. I think that's the same thing with the power of our words and our intentions. And so I walk in undisturbed composure. I imagined myself showing up with the force field around me. So when challenges did come, because they still came, it was just me being one up on it, me preparing for it, adapting to it, recovering from it. And so I was able to bounce those arrows, those darts. They bounced off of my shield, off of my field that I was carrying. And so I did that for so much. I started carrying a presence of peace. I started carrying a presence of undisturbed composure. And when you carry a presence like that, you can actually shift the atmosphere that you're in. Instead of you getting consumed in your environment, consumed in that atmosphere, you can create your own atmosphere with what you have locked in. I locked that in, and that's what I chose to operate in. So anyway, that is your wisdom gem for today. And so thank you for joining the Whispers of Wellness. Everybody knows my company is Wellness Whisper Coaching and Consulting. Make sure that you go to my website. You will start seeing weekly tidbits of wisdom that I'm going to be doing. They're going to be called wisdom. I think I'm going to call it, probably similar to my newsletter, the Weekly Whispers. So there'll be weekly whispers, gems for you to just glean in. And anyone out there, any organization out there that wants someone that's transformational, that's inspiring to come in and to help reignite their people, I am your nurse whisperer. I am the one. So I have several different things in my background. You can go to my website and see my About Me page. Now, also, wait, I have a new book out. My new book is called When the Moment Chooses You, From Silence to Strength. That book came out on March 11th, and there I share my story as a nurse leader. And I'm talking about finding your voice and unleashing your impact. How many want to do that? Have you felt silent before? Have you felt unseen? I'm telling you, if you get this book and you begin to start reading it and doing the exercises that I have at the end, I truly believe that it will change the trajectory of your destiny. If you are a person and you know you're having some unrest within, I truly believe that this book can help you. So go ahead and get it on Amazon. It's there. I'd love to hear a review from you. Also, those that need bulk orders, please reach out to info@wellnesswhisperconsulting.com. And thank you so much. Wellness begins with you, and well-being is from the inside out. Contact me today if you would like to have more assistance.